Today we'll be unboxing and building the Easy Build Lord Felthius and the Tainted Cohort from Games Workshop. So let's use a knife and get into the box. So we have four bases with the hex things punched out. We have a Lord sprue and then two sprues containing the terminators. We have two Nurglings. By the look of it, we've got a little tentacle thingy as well. So I'm going to have a quick look at the instructions. Here we have the rules for them. So for the Blight Lord Terminators, they rock in at power 8, which is 2 more than the aggressors, and Felthius at power 7. So together this box is power 15. If you add that to the contents of First Strike, it takes you to power 21. So either another handful of Plague Marines or Poxwalkers means that it'll take you to power 25. However, let's have a look. So you've got 3 Blight Lord Terminators, one with a Plague Spewer, one maybe with Bubotic Axe, one with Bale Sword. And the ones without the Plague Spewer have got Combi Bolters. You've got Lord Felthius, who is a Lord of Contagion with a Man Reaper, and no additional special rules over the standard Lord of Contagion. The Blight Lords have got no additional special rules over Aura of Rust. I'll need to check and see if that's in the standard book. Zooming in, you can see the quality of the sprue. You've also got a Nurgling with Grenade here, Combi Bolter arms, Big Axe arm. On the other side you've got the Bale Sword built into the model. You've got the mixture of shoulder pad types between Indomitus class and Cataphractii class. You've got a sort of slug Nurgling here, and you've got your pile of tentacle things here. Looking at it, mould lines not particularly evident, but you can see the detail on these models. So they lose pretty much no detail versus the standard models from the Blight Lord's Terminator set, which I've shown in a previous video. It looks really nice. What I will likely do is replace the head on Lord Felthius, so I'm going to dig out my Blight Lord sprue and see what Terminator heads I've got. But you've got a very nice sort of horn head on one of the Terminators. You've got the 3-eye semi-cataphractii head for another Terminator. Let's see if I can find the other head. And this head, which is built into the Bubotic Axe. So there's some really nice bits of this kit. I'm going to start off separating and building the Blight Lord Terminators, and I'm going to find, if I can, some bits to do a conversion on Lord Felthius and give him a different head. So I'll be back in a moment with the models cleaned and ready to assemble. The Plague Spewer kit has a pointing finger with no close combat weapon. So what I've done is I've taken a sword from the Blight Lord's kit. I'm going to cut this guy off at the elbow to affix this sword on. I've also got this spike head that I'll be replacing Lord Felthius' head with, so I can use him as Typhus if I choose to. Most of the criticism of the model for Lord Felthius has been of the head, so let's carefully, with a craft knife, remove this arm at the elbow. For things like this, it's often better to use a jewellery saw, but I don't have a jewellery saw, so it's craft knife time. So I've severed his arm there. I'm gonna put this Bale Sword on. So first of all, I'm going to smooth that joint out, and then I'm going to pin it. So I'll be back having finished that. I'll also remove the head of Lord Felthius, and then when I'm assembling, I'm just going to pop this in instead. So I'm now going to assemble one of the Black Lord Terminators. I'm of course using the Tamiya cement that I use for assembling almost everything. And we are going to start with, let's get this in here, like so. So with these built-in heads, you can of course then substitute them for heads from something else. Right, I need a bit more glue on here to weld this joint in. So with this you want to press really hard as you possibly can for a good 20-30 seconds. So next piece to go on is this front piece, which if we have a look here, let's have a look see. So if we have a look here at how we'll get it in. I've applied some glue there to melt the ends of the pegs so that I can push them in and get a good neat fit. Again, I'm going to hold this for 10 to 15 seconds in order to get the fit be as close as possible. I'll then pop that down for a minute while I put together the bolter pieces. A quick test fit on this bolter. Why is that not sliding in? Why is that not sliding in? Okay, looks like it's going to be another one that's going to be a quite tight fit. So, a bit of glue there. A bit of glue on there to start that melting and being a bit more malleable. At least me being able to do that. Last piece of course is this, which is a back piece that neatly covers this back part. So bit of glue. Press that in quite hard. A lot of putting this together is simply pressing the pieces together quite hard because it makes it so that the joins are permanent. Quick test fit of that. And then the model's assembled. You've got a choice of 3 little bits of ornamentation for the bases. You don't have to use any of them, you can just fill this in with a little bit of filler. But I'm going to put the little slug nurgling in this hole. Having done this, it will be a much better idea to glue these in before you put the models on the bases. So, this is the 3 Blight Lord Terminators. As you can see, I've done a conversion here, and I'll fill that in with a little bit of green stuff at the elbow joint. This is the stock model, and this is the stock model. So these are now ready to be a squad. The Blight Lord Terminators, I like the models. I do wish they had given this guy a close combat weapon, whether an axe or a sword, because giving him a point in hand goes completely against what is available in the multi-part kit and means that you'll need to convert it in order to use it in a standard Terminator squad. So a couple more Blight Lord Terminators is a really good thing. What I would have preferred would be if they'd done this as a 5-man Terminator squad instead of 3 Terminators and a character. They've certainly done plenty of standalone noble characters for Death Guard. Doing one more one-frame character for a Terminator Lord would not have been a big deal, whereas doing a 5-man Blight Lord Terminator squad, even if they went with it being Tainted Cohort and them having slightly different special rules, would have been much preferable in my opinion. So move these out of the way. So we've got the feet, which are just going to go into the base like so. So let's put a dollop of glue on the bottom of this. Bit of glue all around the pegs on the basis that it melts the plastic a little and makes it easier to push them into place. So that's the first part of the model put together. The second part is to attach the body to the base. So if you look at it, you've got 2 pegs that go in quite nicely. Again, good bit of glue on them, a bit of glue on the surrounding area. And then you line it up and push it in. While these are snap fit, I think it is pushing things a little far, and you will probably want to glue them. At this point I'm going to sever Lord Felthius' head in order to replace it with my semi-typhus head. Chop that off a bit. So this then is going to get pushed into place on here and slide in all the way to where it needs to be. And I'm then going to apply a bit of glue because you can see where it runs into place to form a good solid join. This head has been cleaned up. As you're converting, you may well need to make 1 or 2 changes on the go. Don't worry about it. So I've cut down the base of this. This head will now sit quite nicely in there and you'll be able to see the slits. So a little bit of glue here and in it goes. So you can see that's going to nest quite nicely there. Now we're going to take the back piece, which is the next piece that's going to get put together. Quick test fit. And then plenty of glue because there are a lot of points of contact between the front and back pieces. And again, you need to push quite hard to get that together. But you can see, because a lot of people were a bit unhappy about the way this face looked, you can see how different it looks with the horn helmet from the Blightlord sprue. This piece pops into the back. Again, a good hard push to get that together. You are going to need to fill in some of these gaps here, unless you want to leave them as cracks, because it isn't like there aren't big horns growing through them. And you then have the Tainted artifact, or whatever that he's holding, as the final piece that needs to go in. So, and that is my very slight conversion of Lord Felthius. So, what did I think of the kit? It's a nice kit. So, this is the kit assembled. It didn't take too long. What do I think of it? It's got some drawbacks. To use these guys in a normal Terminator squad, you will need to convert this guy. Lord Felthius' head has been a point of contention with a lot of people. I've replaced it with that to make it basically so that I can use him as a substitute Typhus if I want to, because I haven't got the Typhus kit still. I've left the Nurgling off this base because he'll come across here and obscure and make it very hard to paint a lot of the detail here. On the other hand, he'll look wonderful on his own little base, so I may do that and use him as an objective marker or to track grenades or something like that. As I did with one of the scenery pieces from the Aggressor kit. The kit as a whole is a reasonably easy build, particularly these guys. You saw how quickly these two guys went together. It is suitable for younger gamers. If you're expanding First Strike or Dark Imperium or something like that, then it's a good set to get. If you're a very experienced gamer, it's nice to get anyway because it gives you 2 more Blightlord Terminators and a bit more variety in your Blightlord squad. This is a substitute heavy weapon should you wish to use it, and you can possibly substitute that for a different heavy weapon. It would be quite tough though. The kits have got a couple of gaps. You can see a little gap here in this guy's shoulder pad that are going to need to be something done with, possibly, because it's also very much where horns and things are coming through the armour. You can see that they've mixed the Terminator armour marks quite nicely. You've got lots of the features of Cataphracti in all the Terminators, particularly the bodies, but some of the shoulder pads are Indomitus. So these guys have got Indomitus shoulder pads, this guy's got Cataphracti, this guy's got Cataphracti all over, basically. They all have a coherent profile. They've all got these fly designs on the chest, stroke gut piece. They do look really nice, and I'm looking forward to painting them up. However, there are a couple of drawbacks about the kits. I've already said I'd much rather Lord Felthius wasn't in it and you just had 2 more Terminators. I'd have bought a couple of boxes if they'd done that, because as it is, a couple more Terminator squads and maybe I need to rustle up a couple of heavy weapons guys from somewhere. I can do that from the Blightlord's box, and then suddenly I've got 1 of every heavy weapon and I've got 15 Terminators rolling around, and I've got a sort of Death Guard wing army. As it is, I'll buy 1 box of this and I won't buy it again, because it doesn't give me the models that I'm most after, which is just plain old Terminators. Lord Felthius is a good Typhus substitute. if you've not gone out and bought the Typhus model, and I know that some people have had problems getting it because of the supply problems GW are having, but he's an imposing big model. It's always nice to have a different Lord of Contagion, but he's nice to have one of. I don't want to have 3 of them. So, kit, I would recommend it for beginners to get 1. It's a great expansion for First Strike or for No Fear. It's even a decent expansion for Dark Imperium, but it doesn't have the push for you to buy multiple copies of the same kit that you might with the Dreadnought or with the Blight Hauler, or even with the Aggressors if you wanted to convert one to a Gravis Captain and have a 5-strong unit of Flame Aggressors. So I do like this kit and I'm looking forward to painting these guys up, but it is a kit with its limits. If you've liked this video, hit like or subscribe. If you feel strongly, leave a comment below. Good gaming.